This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today I'm going to display the records of contact using multiple components. Means here I will be having two components. One will be main component and another will be where I will be iterating the component.
Rajesh, in the PDF, can you show us which topic we are on?
No, this is not the. I mean, this is just practical assignment, not the topic.
Okay.
Even say when we create. Okay, actually I was on mute, Risita. That's the reason. So when we create any component, so we have these options. Even yesterday I have been explaining this thing to you. If I'm going to check this, so here I will be having like implements. I mean, with the components I will be having implements equals to where I will be having access of these things. Like I can access my component in the tab page, record page, communities, and the quick actions. I'm going to check all these. So I'm going to create this component.
Uh, Naresh, I'm asking in
Okay.
the real time, do they select everything? That's what my question. Like, will they select everything, or in the real project, or they will only do.
No. See, Karthik, whenever you work on any requirement or whenever you are going to create any component, you will be having the idea like where you need to use your component. Either you need
Okay.
tab, page, or communities or app builder. According to that, you are going to select. If you need to create the tab, so you will be going to select the tab. If you need
Okay.
to create page or you need to use your page lightning component site communities, then you will be going to check the community option. So this is how.
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
I got it. Thank you.
So as I have been selected all the options, so you can see I'm having or I'm implementing these interfaces. And there is one attribute, access equals to global. Any idea, guys? What is the meaning of this? Why we are using access equals to global?
We can use
To be available for all object page layouts.
Okay. Anything?
so we can use out of the
During integration.
Anything? So Rahul was saying something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Rahul. Yeah.
Right. So that if we use a global variable, we can use it across the application.
Uh-huh.
So something similar to a global access modifier that we use in Apex class.
Correct. So we might be using this component was in the communities, or we might be using in other orgs by, I mean, putting this component inside packages. I mean, by installing package in other org, we might be using the components. So access equals to global provide accessibility globally. This component can be used globally. I mean, anywhere.
The other possible values for access attribute, Naresh. If not global, what is the other possible access modifiers? I mean, what are the other possible values there?
Default is public.
Okay, so similar to our Apex class modifiers, access modifiers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So let me declare one variable or so-called attribute.
Do we have private also, Naresh, in this? Private also, like, only
No,
for the specific?
no. I mean, there won't be any specific use even for private here. I mean, if we are going to put, we can put. So it will be like you are going to restrict the accessibility. So if you are going to put private, you won't be able to access anywhere in this component except this all. So similarly, I mean,
Okay.
this is like access modifiers as we have
Okay.
in case of Apex. Or attribute. Type will be contact path. I will be storing the instance of contact here. Or I can say I can put like a list, or I can put it array of contacts. So everything will be fine here. Default would be null or blank. So let me write the init. I will be writing the aura handler. I mean the default initializer. That is the aura handler. Name init. So Karthik, why we are using c dot load context for what's the meaning of this complete tag?
Yeah, you said yesterday like C and V, right? So V means variable, C means, it's local or something, right? C is the attribute.
So yeah, basically we use C to or where we are calling the controller method, either JavaScript helper or the Apex. So
Okay, okay, okay.
we are going to call the JavaScript function.
Okay, so the load context is the JavaScript file then, right? JS file.
Yeah. So I will be going to create the JavaScript function here.
Okay.
So syntax, it's a see. I did not modify anything, but it's the default syntax of Lightning. So
Okay.
here this is the function name, this is syntax, and it acquires three parameters. First is component,
Okay.
the instance of your component which I have been created. Instance of this component. Event means if you are firing any event on click, on change, on load,
Mm-hmm.
kind of things. Helper represents like whether you are calling any function of helper from here, or we can say that it's an instance of helper. I mean instance of this.
Okay.
So here I will be going to call the apex function now, where I will be loading the contacts. Let me create the apex class. Okay, so Nikhil, what is the next step? Now I need to call the. I mean, I want to load the contacts. So what will be my next step? What I need to do?
You need to create an Apex controller first. Controller method first.
Method in the apex class.
Method in the Apex class, yes.
Let me
And then need to refer that in your JS helper.
create one method. So public static list. So
Naresh, and also, is it always that we need to create a static method?
correct.
Uh, yeah. Okay, because we directly call the class name dot method.
Yeah, right. So
Because
here we will be using the class name only. You cannot instantiate. I mean, in case of Lightning, we cannot create instance of the class.
right, so it's always class dot method, so it has to be static. Yeah.
So here I will be returning the contacts. Let me create one list of contacts.
The get contacts is the method, right?
Right. This is the apex method name.
Okay, that's a method. And next one is the list where you are getting a complete list of all the contacts available. Right?
Correct. I'm defining the list of contacts. Now I will be making the query.
Okay. So that list contacts means is basically you are listing the contact objects, all the records, right? That's what it is.
Basically, this is the collection, and list means a group of things. Because here we
Correct.
are going to fetch multiple contacts or more than one contact, and in Apex when we talk about the multiple or more than one, so either we play with set, map, or list. So these are the three collection.
Yeah. Correct. Okay. So mostly we use either list or set, right? Or map also.
Correct, correct. So mostly we use list. When we have the related records, we use map, or when we don't want the duplicacy, we won't play only with the unique records. We use set.
Okay.
Select. This is the query I'm putting here.
Yeah.
So here I'm putting the condition where phone, or let's say email, is not equal to null. So this is the new symbol we can say to compare the not equal to. It's similar like this one. We can use any one,
Got it.
right? So guys, any doubt in this method? Okay. Okay. So now what will be the next step, Risita?
Yes, Naresh.
So what will be the
We
next?
need to call this apex method in the controller.
Okay, so we need to call this apex class method. I mean apex class this one, and method is this inside JavaScript.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean this time rather than calling this from JavaScript, I will be calling from the helper. So you will be getting the idea how to call the helper things. So first let me define the method inside helper.
So what's the difference between this controller and helper? Naresh?
See,
Sorry, I'm asking some layman question because
no,
I am new to the development.
no issues, no issues. Okay, so helper is something as the name suggests. Helper means something which is going to help to the controller. Or when you think there is something, some code or some method which are calling again and again, or which are having the duplicacy. So rather than calling those or defining those methods again and again in the controller, put that method inside helper and just call that method. I mean, don't create the same method again and again. And when you
Okay.
like you are having thousand lines of code in the controller, so just share the load with the helper. That will be going to help. There are 2 to 3 uses
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
With common properties, common methods, we are supposed to declare inside helper.
So the business logic completely we have to write in the helper, right?
Not completely, but yeah, we will be sharing 50-50% in controller and in helper.
Okay.
So here I will be passing component event two things. And let me put some alert and see whether it's working or not.
Naresh, can you also put that alert statement including that component, event, and helper and see what values are coming into that function?
Here,
No, after line 3, can you just alert of component value?
okay.
So that's function is the method, right? So we're getting some value in that component variable.
It will be written
Yeah.
instance of the component.
So what is that? What does that come? I mean, what is the value that comes into that? That's my question.
It will be the random value. Helper dot. This is syntax to call the uh, helper function. Helper dot helper method name. And we can pass number of parameter from here. Let me create one app. See, first is calling helper, and you can see this is the instance of the component, including namespace or all these things.
Okay.
And Nikhil, if you want to pass any parameters from here, so we can pass. I mean, from here. Mm,
Can we even pass, the list of S objects and all that? Will it make sense?
sure.
The,
We can.
okay.
Helper.
So we don't have to predefine what to expect, right? So we didn't mention that we are expecting a string. Rather, we passed a string and it understands that it is a string,
Yeah,
right?
whatever you want to pass. I mean, so you can pass. It's not like any restriction here. You can pass any as object, any list, any integer, anything. Okay. Any doubt?
Yes.
What is the str you put it, Naresh? Str means that you put, right? Str is string or
Which one? This one.
yeah?
It's just a variable. You can put ABC, and
Oh, okay,
you can put even 5 also.
okay, okay. So str and you are getting the value of what, like it is.
Correct. So I mean 5 won't be working. It will be accepting this string. Let's say it will be T. You can see in the T we are having the same value. Okay, so I
Oh.
believe it's clear for you. Or any doubt, guys? Any doubt, or are you okay?
Nikhil, could you explain what's the purpose of the Apex class here?
Apex class means this one.
Yeah, we have written the method, right? So I'm a
Ah,
little confused here.
Risida, so don't be confused. What we are going to do here, we are going to display the contact records. Okay. So I
Okay.
believe if you might have remembered when I have taught you guys the structure of lightning. So
Yeah.
right. So for that purpose, because we need to query the records, and we cannot make the query inside component or the JavaScript. For that, we
Okay.
hit the Apex class or server-side controller, because most of the times we are hitting the server-side controller twice, either when reading the records or when we are saving the records. So we need to
Okay.
take the data and display to the component side. That's the reason we are using this class. I mean, till the time we did not use, but we are going to use this class. We have declared all the method, so we will be calling this method from the JavaScript.
Okay.
Clear now?
Yep.
So basically, you need to have a class, then you need to have a JavaScript, which is the controller. I think then you need to have a component, and also you need to have a app, and also you need to have a helper. Everything, right, Naresh?
So just a minute. It will be clear for you. It won't be taking much time. Let me explain this thing again. I can see. I mean, even Rishita and you guys are a bit confused.
So whenever you are building a component, means it's not necessary that you need to have a class, right? Class is must, no, right?
No, not like that. I'll give you the use cases scenarios. No worry. So see, this is the lightning component. This is your JS controller. This is your JS helper. This is your Apex controller, and this is your database.
The Lightning app is nothing but this whole thing. Everything is consisting of one Lightning app, right?
Correct. So when we run this component, where at the same time we create the application and include the component to see the functionality or to execute the component. So let's say my requirement is I need to display 10 contact records.
Okay.
So for that I have been created one component, but directly I won't be having the context into the component until I won't be making the connection or the relation with the JS and the Apex. So I have two ways here. So this is the layer I do have. From the help component, I will be calling this JavaScript controller, and from the JavaScript controller, I do have two options. Either I can call directly the Apex class method to ask for the 10 contact records, or I can make a request to the helper. Like we need 10 contact records. So if we are calling JavaScript function from component and from JavaScript to Apex, so directly we will be having the response. There won't be any role in that case of helper. But if we are calling first JavaScript, then helper, so from helper we will be calling the Apex class function to display the records, and it will be common for either we are coming here from helper or the JS. It will be a common thing. Is it clear or is still out?
Yeah, so helper is not required then. It's if we need, we can have it, right? Because you are saying we can even directly do it from JS controller to Apex, right? So do we really need helper then?
It's like helping hands. I told you, na?
Yeah.
We don't need.
Yeah.
It's a helping hands.
Okay.
Directly you can go to the controller, and from controller you can go to the Apex, and from Apex you can go to the database. You can make the query and you can display the records, right? If you are going to
Okay.
call the helper, then from helper you are going to call the Apex, and from Apex you are going to hit the database. You are making the query. This will be the cycle.
Okay.
And
So, but the functionality is the same. Whether you use helper or not, still we can do it. Without helper also we can do that component.
right. We can.
Okay.
Clear, guys?
So without JS helper, we can call the Apex method from the JS controller, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Okay. That's the reason I'm writing this example because I know in first example you might have some questions when I was displaying the account records. So here what I was doing, I was calling my default function, call JS function, this one, and from here only I won't be calling any helper. From here only I will be calling the Apex class function, this one. Or there is no helper, you can see there is no method of helper. But this time in this example I'm creating the helper also.
So if you are writing this class, then we need to write the test class also for this in the real time.
Correct.
Naresh?
Correct.
Okay.
We need to. Okay. So
There is
now
test classes are not only for Apex. Do they have test classes for JS also?
we have tool for the JavaScript for the component, not test classes.
So while pushing to the production, the Lightning component, so generally I do the releases and all, right? I check the code coverage for the test classes. So if we are doing this Lightning component migration, should I check the code coverage and all for JavaScript, and the component and everything, or like how does it work? Because I have never worked on Lightning.
We don't need to check the coverage for components. Directly, we can take care using the. We need to take care of Apex class only.
So JS classes, you don't need a test coverage. That's what
We
you are
don't
saying.
need.
Okay. So where does the static resource come here, Naresh? Then static resource they are using for JS and all, right? So
Yeah, when you include the external files, external the JavaScript or the styling, the same
okay.
time we need to include the static resource. But nowadays, hardly we need to use because Lightning, I can say, much better compared to the beginning. It's a kind of stable stage. So even they have included all the styling. They have already incorporated that. So we are supposed to use the tags only to inherit this style. Okay.
So if you want to migrate a component, means what you will do, like in real time, right? If I want to migrate one Lightning app, right? This display contacts, right? I want to move it to the production. So if you need to move means, then I need to first take the component, then like that one by one move it, or like do we have a change set through which we can move all those things, or how does this work?
So we can, using chain set we can move,
With the change set we can do all those things. Okay.
right?
Thank you.
So here, let me call the Apex function. C dot method name means this get context. Again, this is the syntax to get the response. But meaning of this, we are taking the response because here we are basically calling the function, and we can say it's returning the reference of the Apex class method. So from here, we are taking out the response. So all the response coming in this variable, and this variable having the couple of things. First is, let's say, take it out the state. Sorry, response dot get state. So we can put one check here, alert or console.log. We can put anything. If
So this alert is nothing but like system.debug, like that, right? In JavaScript.
the stage is success, then we are going to take the list of contacts. From the response itself, response dot get value. So we are putting it in the queue. Okay, guys, what I told you the meaning of this line, Nikhil, Rahul,
Yeah, it just maintains the context or the order of execution, sir.
state of this transaction, because we might be calling any other function from here, from this block, or we might be firing any event. So that's the reason we don't want to break the cycle until all the transactions are not being executed successfully. We want all the things in the queue. That's the reason we use $a.enqueue action.
It maintains the stateful across the transaction.
It's showing unknown controller. Guys, any idea why we are getting this? Just think over the error. In Lightning, error comes like this.
Can you
Just
go back to the helper code once?
sorry.
Sorry.
It says
We need to
that
call the Apex class, right, in the component.
No, I did not getting. I'm not getting you.
Naresh, can you go back to the helper code, please?
Okay.
Yes, helper code.
We need to call the Apex method.
Okay, we are calling the Apex method.
In
Yeah.
the controller, in the component, we need to call the Apex class.
Correct. We did not include this class to this component. Until we are not going to make the relation with the component and the Apex class, we don't be able to inherit any property of the class. So first we need to include the Apex class controller, then only we can call the method.
This one.
It's showing again unknown controller. So means even though we are including the Apex class also. Now what could be the reason why we are getting this?
Naresh, can you go to the helper class one?
Sorry, which class?
Helper.
Helper, okay.
The line number 22, do we have to use that in controller or helper? Or it doesn't matter? Line number 22.
Where you are right, you are calling the any function of Apex, then at the same time, same place you need to use this. Yes, when I was writing the class, I mean last time I told you, because directly
Alright.
we cannot expose the methods. We need to use one annotation.
Right.
But still I can see it's not page fetching this. Now we can see we have all the response. Let me use console.log. Sorry. Let me stringify this list.
Oh, what was the error, Naresh? Just because you were using get contacts, there was a conflict with the
From the
standard
cache
notation.
was it's a browser side. It's a client side. So it was taking the same method and it was not identifying with the class. I just renamed the method and now it's identifying. Main thing was it wasn't identifying, was it was taking out from the cache. So this is the response we
So
got.
was the method used somewhere else before? That's why it's doing like that. Or?
No. Some of the time what happened, because this is the client side. So we have we didn't either we need to clear the cache memory or we need to change the instance name or the method name.
Okay. So cleaning the cache memory means how you will do?
We need to clear the history or whatever the things we do have. Basically we need to clear the history of browser.
Okay.
Now we got the response, guys. Even we can use console.log. Best practice is use console.log. Let me inspect it and see. So you can see calling helper success, state success, and the list of contacts. Okay. So any doubt in the Apex class, in the helper component and controller?
I have one question.
Yeah.
So while clearing the cache memory, right?
Mhm.
Let's say we are executing, we are launching all these components in production. So how
Mhm.
does that work in production? So do we have to clear the cache memory here as well?
So are you going to create the components or the functions like this in the production?
No. If we deploy there, if we are
You want to be
let's say if
getting
we are
this because everything will be working fine. You will be sending the code once all the things are tested completely, right? So because I did this thing to let you know what type of error will be there and how you can resolve. If let's say you are going to face an interview, someone asks you what type of error you got till the time in the lightning. So what you are going to tell him? If you are until unless you are not facing any error, any issue, you won't be able to tell to the interviewer. Correct. Decision with respective to that, I was supposed to show you that error.
So what is the set callback means? What is that? Is it a function or method? What is it?
This is the basically syntax action.set callbacks. So here we got or we take out the response from the instance of the class. Because here we are getting the instance of this method, instance of
Yeah.
the Eclipse class method, and from that instance we are getting the response using the action.set callback.
Do we need that line or?
Right, we need it's mandatory. So whatever the stuff I have written here, that is the mandatory part.
Naresh, let's say if we have, or if we want to have two methods within the helper JS, and we just need to call one of them from the controller, do we need to still have two set callbacks, or do we just need one? Or how does the syntax look like when we have two methods within the helper?
Mean of whatever the Apex class methods we are going to call, the same thing. The same number of time you need to have the same thing as you can see on your screen.
Which
Everything.
means literally from 1 to 24, it would be just repeated again, is what you're saying.
Right. If you are calling any function, any method.
Is that the best practice, or is it the best practice to call another function at line 7 and then set the value at line 9?
No. It won't be best practice. So best practice is keep the method separately because you will be having a different context to call another Apex class method. You want to be calling
I mean,
with
I'm
the
only
same.
calling Apex method to line 6, right? So literally my action is only happening at line 6.
Yeah,
So the context at line 2, the context is still the same for whatever method I'm calling. So it probably, let's say we have get accounts method in the controller. So I can simply call that method at line 7 and then set back, and still the line 9 can be the same,
so
right?
basically we can do the same approach, but I won't suggest you, because I mean you will be getting the mix. You might be getting the mixed response. Otherwise, you need to put couple of conditions for that.
Right, probably at line 15 or something, we'll have to get two different variables and check the if
Even
condition, and
line
then
15, line 15, and in line 6 also. Because if you are going to call the different method, guys, if we are talking about, and if we are going to talk about on this, so other will be get puzzled. So that's the reason I don't want to talk on this topic. You are getting this, that's good, but again, the other guys will be getting puzzled, like what's happening, this thing, what we are discussing.
okay, but let me ask you this. So moving forward, we'll have some helper JS with two or multiple methods, correct?
Yeah,
Moving forward.
we can have.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to see how things work and what's the best practice to do
Just
there.
give a
Okay.
try at your end, no issue. If you get any issue, you can connect to me.
Or even we can create like multiple helpers and just call them in the controller JS, right? The same thing.
Multiple helper means
Uh,
No, the file has to be one. That's it. So on the right, you see that orange thing, right? So there would be only one helper, but you can include multiple methods within just one helper.
okay.
Is that right, Naresh?
even I'm not getting your questions. So you said something and Rahul said something.
So Rahul's question was, can we have multiple helper JS classes for one Lightning component?
No,
Can we
that
have, or can we not?
file. I mean, we don't have. We have only one file. We can
One
have
file,
multiple
right?
functions inside this helper.
Yep. So yeah, that's the same thing I said. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Any more question?
So one generic question: what are the limits of this Lightning framework? The one of the interview they were asking, like, what are all the limits of Lightning frameworks? Than Visual Force page, and others.
Even I mean, as such, we do not have any count yet, but might be Salesforce is going to give count soon. I mean, I did not see any count yet.
Count means what count? Can you explain a little bit?
Limit. Like governor
The limit.
Lightning components, I did not see anything. Like view state and other thing, number of methods. We can have
So that is advantage. That is the advantage of Lightning framework, right? So there is no governor limit for Lightning framework. That's what you are saying, right? That is advantage. Any limitation I am asking using Lightning framework?
no, I said no. I did not find any limitation till the time.
Oh, okay, no one limits. Okay, okay. So it's far better than Visual Force. That's what you are saying, like this, right?
Yeah, I'll say it's far better.
So any advantage than Visual Force which means any one or two. One is, as you said, governor limit.
Okay.
No governor limit.
Another thing is it's fast in response, because
Okay.
you are not hitting the apex class again and again. You are hitting the apex class only once or twice, either when you are retrieving the record or you are inserting records. Other things you can do in JavaScript itself. You can create your list set map. You can define any attribute. You can do calculation also, because client side controller is much faster compared to the server side controller. Another is it's fast in response, and it's interactive UI. The same application you can run on mobile and laptop, desktop, or tablet. So it's a
Okay.
responsive UI,
Okay.
and it's mandatory by Salesforce itself. If you are going to upload any application to the App Exchange, if your application does not support the Lightning, you won't be able to upload.
Got it. Okay.
Okay? These are the advantages.
So the thing is, so if you are trying to do the Lightning checklist, right? Like to prepare Lightning preparation, generally that report, how many pages it will come? Is it like 5-10 pages if you done anything, right? So I haven't done anything, right? So can you do it in the developer edition, like doing the Lightning checklist, like Lightning preparation?
I'm not getting
To
it.
test like
I'm not getting your question.
So for example, in the real time, right? So we are using Salesforce Classic. We want to, like convert to Lightning. So they are saying we need to run some Lightning, like checklist or Lightning, preparation
No,
test or something.
I mean, for this specific purpose, let's say you have created one VF page, but you want to enable that to the Lightning. So we have one checkbox. So we need to first check that. Then only we will be able to use the functionality of that VF page in the Apex class. Sorry, in the Lightning. So we have some
Okay, okay.
kind of checkbox or settings as we need to perform.
Okay, my question is like, what is the step we need to do? Like, for example, Naresh, like, so they are asking, right? Okay, Karthik, can you check whether this application, this our Salesforce Classic can be converted to Lightning?
Uh,
So that means in Salesforce, we need to do some readiness check or something,
got
right?
your point, Kat. Don't worry about that. I'll come to that step also. So go slowly.
Okay, no problem.
Or in one class, I cannot answer all the questions.
Okay, okay.
Yesterday we do have 25 or 25 to 30 lectures. Don't worry about that.
No.
Your question when
Okay, okay, okay.
I'll be talking about that specific topic, then I'll answer this question.
Okay, okay. No problem. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, like, is it necessary to write the line number 14 what we have written, like if test is equal to success? Because still I'm not using the if state is equal to success, and I'm getting the response from the server. So is it necessary to write this line?
You want to handle the exception or the errors, then how you will be going to do that? So to basically handle the errors or the exception, we use state,
Okay.
whether it's success or the error. So according to that, we can display the error messages. Like if we are getting the success, then we can load the successful message, like your records has been uploaded successfully. I'll show you that. I'll be using the event for that. I mean, tomorrow I will be going to use that in success and the error.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, guys. So let's connect tomorrow. Thanks for your time. Bye bye. I'll start from the beginning. I mean, from here only. Thanks for joining. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, Naresh.